10 a.m. on the dot. Good morning, everyone. I am so thrilled for this Instagram Live today. As you've been watching, my Instagram Lives have been all over the place, all different kinds of topics, but today is one that is special and dear to me because I am an avid Peloton rider. It has also become something that is almost like a source of finding a community in these tough times. And so I reached out to the one and only Christine D'Ercole, who is one of my favorite instructors, to join us for an Instagram Live to talk a little bit about inspiration, how we can focus our energies in a good place during, a lot of the hardship that people are facing. And Christine joins me now. Hello.
Hi, how are you? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. It's so wonderful to meet you in person, although as all of us
So nice
feel,
to meet
we always know and feel like we're best friends with our Peloton instructors. But hi, nice to meet you.
you. I know, right? It's so funny when I get on the bike to teach and I see so many familiar names. It's like walking into the Cheers bar.
It is so true. Actually, I posted that we were going to be doing this today, and I just got a flood of comments from viewers. And one of them, I thought this really summed it up, from Monica, who said, "I can't wait to watch this. Christine is my favorite Peloton instructor. She's a total badass. Definitely been my savior during COVID. Love her words, and she's in my head during the hard times." And I mean, I know you get those comments all the time, but I just sort of want to get your reaction, because I think right now, with what people are going through, this community has been more important than ever.
Yeah, I feel it too. In fact, last night, I think you took that the rock ride I taught last night.
I did this
I
morning.
Yeah, I saw that. Thank you. I had this moment of I really missed everybody, like being there in the room. Now, granted, most people are away somewhere else around the world taking the ride, but the that layered experience of having people in the room and out there, my heart filled up, and I felt so. I really just had a moment of recognition of my attachment to this community and how it's so funny. Like growing up, I always felt like I did not fit in. You know, the ballerina story, like just couldn't fit in the box. And it's funny about how with Peloton, it is everything that makes me different. That is why I belong. And that,
I,
yeah.
well, I want to talk a little bit about that, because I, having ridden with you for years now, know a lot about your background. And if people are watching, and by the way, for those that are watching, chime in, ask questions. But Christine, danced and was in the ballerina world and had people tell her that her body didn't fit. And what I love when I watch you and when I'm riding with you is talking about how you embrace the body that you have now. Your pink ride, which I think I took like maybe 8 times.
Thank you.
Amen to you, girl, for getting in that outfit, and you looked bang bang. And now you're saying these thighs are what has won me medals. And I think that that's something, I want to point out, this is not a weight loss community. This is an inspirational community. And you always talk about how you are greater than a smaller size of your pants, and you say it more eloquently. But I just want to get your take on, really, exercise is not about vanity. I always say it's about sanity.
I love that. I saw that, and that really hit me because it's the same as we spend so many of us spend so much time exercising in order to look a certain way, to take up less space. And somehow, through another whole conversation about society, we've gotten it into our heads that the smaller we are, the better we are. And I feel like, having grown up in that world, that I just couldn't, at some point, there was a breaking point where it can't be true that if there are unchangeable things about my body, that I can't be happy, that I can't feel lovable, be lovable, feel worthy, and be worthy, because my thighs are bigger than the next girl. But this is drilled into us by society. And when I discovered the bicycle, that switch absolutely flipped. Also because winning bike races and just the joy of riding was not based on how I looked or whether I was tall enough to be or short enough to be the ingenue next to the guy, you know? It was based on my grit and my strength and using my thinking capacity to strategize tactics to win a race. You're not being judged on your appearance. Everybody's in a skin suit or a jersey with a helmet that covers everything. And so looks have nothing to do with it. And from going to dancing, from dancing to acting to modeling, like all of these things you are judged constantly on your appearance. And bike racing set me free. I would say not bike racing partially, but riding a bike set me free from that. And now being able to ride a stationary bike and share stories of empowerment and self-acceptance and really trying to get the message out there to embrace our build, to not fight our bodies, but discover what they're built for, that we could be released from these, it sounds so dramatic, released from the shackles of fighting ourselves and actually find joy and fulfillment. And who knows what you'd be so surprised by what you might be built for.
And, you know, being in a career where almost every single comment I get is on my appearance, which is so incredibly frustrating. I could spend hours writing what I felt was like the most amazing script. And then it's like, you look great. Did you lose weight? And or, hey, you know, has it been tough losing the baby weight? Like maybe you could wear the girdle that, you know, I mean, it's amazing the kind of comments that, and you know the same in dancing and all of that. And what I love that you talk about a ton, and I've gotten a couple comments as well from people wanting to hear a bit about your relationship with your daughter, is now you're able to bring a different message to your own daughter, one that it doesn't sound like you had growing up.
Yes. It's funny. I have always worked very, very hard to make sure that she felt good about her body and felt confident about it. And funny thing, she's really struggled with that. She's really deeply struggled with that because mom is in this fitness world, and she was, I guess, as children want to differentiate themselves from their parents, she actually refused to exercise and was just so tired of me she was so tired of hearing me preach about how you don't have to do my class, like just walk around the block or walk around the park, just move, because she has struggled with depression and anxiety and not felt great about her body. But it's a wild thing that for a long period of time I could inspire thousands of people on a ride, but I felt like I couldn't get through to her, actually, to be completely transparent. Like, I'm not going to paint a picture that it's, she's magically happy and perfect. She's really, really struggling, or she was struggling. She's really actually turned a corner in the last 2 years. But I feel like as long as I keep pressing that message, even if she finds it annoying, that at some point it's going to sink in. But she has to find it herself. You know what I mean? And that's
absolutely,
we
all
children,
do.
like I feel like
I feel like, Yeah, it's one of those things where you feel like you have, I loved it. And I felt the exact same way when you said, I can inspire as many people on this leaderboard, but until I can inspire her, it will not really be that like gold medal that will be the gold medal of all gold medals. Every parent feels that way. And I think the fact that you share those things, and Ratner Beth is saying, I love it when you say, just ride the damn bike. It's so true. It's like Cody Rigsby when he's like, you're riding a bike that goes nowhere. Don't take yourself too seriously.
Right.
And people just chiming in here saying like, drop your shoulders, drop your baggage, all of these messages that you put across. And I think that that's something that seemed like the impetus for Peloton, which if you can sort of give people an idea of what Peloton is for those that might not know about it and what you learned going through the last few weeks.
You know, I've always been really, really blown away by the power of the community of Peloton. And Peloton had us come together for a greater cause. And it is one of the things that it's so, when there's something bigger than you and you're doing something for somebody else, somehow we find ourselves able to show up more or show up better or show up more consistently when it's for someone else. Like people do 100-mile bike rides to benefit someone else. And so that is incredibly empowering and brought all of these people together so that we could give $1 million donation to our charity partners. And I actually, I reached out to my friend and colleague, Irene, to make sure I could pronounce the German is Food Bank of Germany. Then we have Food Bank New York, the Trussell Trust in the UK. And yes, I'm looking at my notes. I want to make sure
you've got a lot of things to rattle off.
A lot of things and Daily Bread. So by coming together, we championed these causes. And I like to think of it as, you know how I always say hands on your back. And I feel like Peloton was about reaching our hands around the world onto the backs of as many people as we could gather so that they could experience instructors, to give them an opportunity or like to nudge them to experience instructors that they might not have otherwise tried and realize how many inspiring things that you can get from every single person on the team. Everybody has such an amazing, unique, special gift to give. So people got to experience all kinds of new flavors of inspiration while giving to this incredible charity. And it was fun for us as instructors too. Like I got to spend time and have conversations with others that I like just don't, well, certainly don't pass by every day, especially now that nobody's going anywhere. But to have communication and work on showing up for each other together built our bonds. It was great. I loved it.
It's an amazing thing that you guys were doing. I want to bring in Vino here. He's one of our viewers of Instagram Live, and he said, you're such an inspiration. And he wants your one brutal piece of advice for those who still feel insecure about how they look, how to motivate them to realize what they have been built for.
Oh, I really believe if you have an inkling about something you want to do or thought you might like to do at some point, I mean, even back to your childhood, and you put it in a box or you sat on it or thought that's for other people, that's for someone else to do. I don't do that, or I can't do that. That really allowing yourself to tune in to those inklings you've dismissed, things that you were curious about at one point and put away. I think those are the keys. I think those are the keys to the doors in the walls. And by listening, and I think writing is a powerful way to tap into listening. Writing is hearing yourself. So I strongly encourage people to revisit the things they once wanted to do and aren't doing, and get curious about those things and start to pursue them. I think that then your pants will fall into place. I think when there's a truth that someone needs to speak, that they're sitting on and aren't expressing themselves, and I'm talking like deep, dark things that we are afraid to say, they are weight. When we are suppressing our inklings, that's weight that we're holding on to. And if there's a book in you that you want to write, a film you want to make, all of the things that we sit on are weight. And when we put those things on the finish line and visualize those things while we're riding the damn bike, that I think your pants will fall into place. I really do. And when you discover that, you know, your six pack is not what makes you worthy. The size of your thighs, whatever that number is not what's going to make you lovable, successful. It's your actions. You've heard me say this. It is the impact of your actions and the weight of your words that create the true mass of your matter in the world.
And it's so well said. I love how you also on Instagram talk about changing the chatter, and you write out ways to change the chatter. I think that's a great exercise. People, you can hop over to her Instagram. And I also want to have another question in here from Amy, who's like, what is the thing that you're most proud of today?
You know, it would be easy to say my gold medal at World Championships, but it's bigger than that. It's bigger than that. What I am most proud of today is that I get to live a life of impact by being completely true to myself. Actually, I get to do that. And that's the most fulfilling thing. The gold medal is representative of my commitment to community and commitment to discovering what I'm capable of and going to the scary place and the uncomfortable place of physical and mental and emotional challenge. But I am most proud of the life that I get to lead now, and to get to have conversations like this where I get to share the words that have helped me to help someone else.
Well, I think that perfectly goes into this comment from Miss Casey5, who says that you have been a life changer as far as physical fitness for me after severe trauma, now trying to heal with your hands on my back, and all the support and transparency just means the world. I could go through about 50 other of these comments, probably more. And I know that that has to be what you're really proud of. And because Christine's making me cry again, another comment. Someone saying you're bigger than a smaller pair of pants. Vino saying, I literally have goosebumps hearing your message. He was asking about the inspiring words. And I can feel that even just in your emotion of just what that must be like to have that influence on others. And that's why this community is so different. You know, I mean, this isn't, you know, a workout community. This is unique in that way. It's something that I've exercised my whole life, and I've never had something like this before. And one of our viewers was wondering how Peloton found you, or how you found Peloton.
I found Peloton at a time, well, it's very funny. It was a long journey. In 2012, I was in Montauk walking my dog on the beach, and I met a woman named Connie Cortese walking her dog. And she knew that I was a cycling instructor. And she sent me a message on Facebook. She said, my son is working on opening a new cycling studio, and we're looking for instructors. It's called Peloton. His name is Tom Cortese. And I was like, I'm good, thanks. You know, I'm not going to leave where I am to like go to some new thing. And it was 2 years later that it was clear to me that it was time for a change. And I revisited that conversation. And I sent a lot of emails to every single person that I had any connection to. If I knew someone who knew someone who knew someone who knew someone at Peloton, I was like connecting the dots and sending emails. And here's why. you should hire me. I never, it's so funny. My career up to Peloton, to be honest, certain companies came to me and said, we'd love for you to work with us. And this was flipped. I was advocating for myself. I was advocating for what I bring and my worth and my expertise as an instructor, as a cyclist. And it was I was like, oh my God, I actually feel so strongly that this is a good fit, that I'm being brazen and like making myself be seen. I felt that it was a good fit because I could see the different styles and personalities of who was teaching at the time. And I said, this is a broad range. You've got, very entertaining and like zesty and spicy. And then you've got dancey and a little bit more athletically. Like there's such a range. I thought, there's room for me here. There's room for me here. I bring something else different. I bring this cycling experience, and having been a master trainer for Schwinn for 6 years, I was like, in all of my racing, this makes sense. So I pressed that and I got it. And here's a fun fact. Did you do the arms workout last night? Sorry, putting you on the spot. Did you do the arms?
I didn't do it last night because I have 2 kids and I was trying to get them to bed. So I squeezed in my workout this morning, your rock ride. But what happened with the arms ride?
The arms piece. So then you'll know. I played this for when I convinced them to let me do a demo class. Let me show you what kind of experience I can give you. During an arms section of that demo class, I played the first song that I played in last night's 10-minute arms. And it is a Brazilian song, and there's a lot of clapping in it. It's very celebratory. And the first 3 minutes of arms in that demo class was the same piece that I did last night. So it was a kind of a full circle thing where we're not using any weights. We're just clapping, and your arms are fried. So
I have done one of the arms sections where you have done that before. And I'm like, Christine, stop this, because this really hurts.
I know, and you like lose control, like you can't.
Oh, somebody said, Namaste Stacy said that it was hard to text today because her arms are so sore from it. So it actually
funny.
And so many people are chiming in that they took it. I mean, you are just absolutely loved here. You're an inspiration. We know that. We've gotten to that. I have one last question from a viewer because one wants to know, SS Kavanek wants to know, who's your inspiration?
Oh my gosh. My biggest inspiration is a teacher I had in college. Her name is Victoria Santa Cruz, and she was a dancer. She was a performer. She was they call her the mother of Afro-Peruvian dance and theater. And she taught a class when I was at Carnegie Mellon called Rhythm, where she would take jump ropes and sticks and clapping dances. You like Miss Mary Mack. You play these rhythm games and there is a pattern to the movements and the sounds. And she would have us, for instance, we'd all line up. 2 of us would be on the rope and we'd have sticks and you'd have to jump in the rope, hit the sticks, jump, hit the floor and get out, and the next person would come in. And when we were all present, this music happened. And when someone anticipated because they were trying to get it right, or someone hesitated because they were afraid of getting it wrong, the rhythm got messed up. And so these rhythmic games were literally experiments for her to be able to see like our psyches and our schemas. What is it like? Where are we living in our head trying to overthink everything? Or where are we in our bodies? And where are we mentally? And she would stop us in the middle and she'd say, kid, you're thinking too much. You're all in your head. She stopped me a lot. Having had this background in dance, I thought, I can do this. This is dance. Ego was driving me. She pulled me aside and she said, I want you to show up with a piece of music that you don't know too well, but that moves you. Plan nothing, and I want to see you dance. And I was petrified. And I showed up. I brought this beautiful piece of music by Peter Gabriel, a different drum. And you've heard me play it in class. And I moved. And then the song was over and I stopped and because I waited for approval. And she said, Kid, every time you are about to create something new, you revert back to what you know. You play safe. You must take a risk and go over that edge into that unknown. It is like running water. Let it either be hot or cold, never lukewarm. Take a risk. And that has stuck with me in the deepest possible way. To take risks, to speak up, to allow myself to move freely, and to demand more of myself.
Sounds like that's how you got in the door at Peloton as well. That might have been your inspiration, knocking on the door a little bit louder than you have ever before.
Right.
Before I let you go, I'll give you a personal story. I'm based here in Atlanta, but I was in New York for about 11 years, and it was before Peloton, was around. And so I started Peloton, and then when I was in New York for work, my sister and I came to your class, and after the class, my sister had not done Peloton before, and I'd just been talking to her about it. She's like, "Lynn, this is a little weird. You seem really obsessed with Peloton." And I'm like, "No, you don't understand. Just come to a class with me." And so we took your class. She got off the bike, and she was like, "I totally get it. I totally get it." And I said to her, I was like, "Is it weird if I go up to Christine and ask her for a picture? This is weird, right?" And she's like, "Yeah, that's a little weird." So I never did. But I think that just really goes to, people that ride with you each and every day, feel like they know you. And I think that's a great gift that you give to this community, gift that is much needed right now. And I just really thank you for taking the time, for sharing your messages, your own inspiration that I think we can all call upon. And it's much needed right now. And I just appreciate it.
Thank you so much for hearing me and for trusting me.
Hand on your back, dear friend. I will be hopping on the arms ride soon.
I can't wait.
And just all the best to you. It was wonderful talking with you.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure and an honor.
Take care.